Law 1. The pitch. The pitch used for futsal must be rectangular, with the length of the touchline greater than the length of the goal line, with various restrictions on other key elements. The radius of the centre circle is 3 meters. While the penalty area is made up of 2 quarter circles, each with a 6-meter radius, from the outside of each goalpost. There are 2 penalty marks, the first 6 meters and the second 10 meters, from the centre of the goal line. 2 additional marks, each at a distance of 5 meters on either side of the second penalty mark, must be made on the pitch, to indicate the distance to be observed when a free kick is being taken from the second penalty mark. At each of the 4 corners, a quarter circle with a radius of 25 centimeters is drawn inside the pitch. A mark must be drawn outside the pitch, 5 meters from the corner arc and at right angles to the goal line, to show the distance to be observed when a corner kick is taken. The substitution zones are situated on the same side of the pitch as the team's benches, directly in front of them, to allow easy access to and from the pitch. The goals, which are placed on the centre of each of the 2 goal lines, have a distance of 3 meters between the inside of the posts, with the crossbar 2 meters above the ground. Nets are attached to the posts, with a depth of at least 80 centimeters at the top and 100 centimeters at ground level. The goals must have a stabilizing system that prevents them from overturning. Portable goals may be used as long as they're as stable as fixed goals. Law 2. The ball. The ball used in futsal must be spherical, with a circumference of between 62 and 64 centimeters, manufactured from a suitable material, and weighing between 400 and 440 grams at the start of a match, with a pressure equal to 0.4 to 0.6 atmospheres at sea level. Here we see a ball that fits these criteria, just prior to the start of the third-place playoff match between Brazil and Argentina in the 2004 FIFA Futsal World Championship. Law 3. The number of players. Teams will begin a game of futsal with 5 players, 4 outfield and a goalkeeper, with up to 7 substitutes permitted per team. Substitutions may be made at any time during the game, and players who've been substituted can return at any time. Unused substitutes must remain within the substitution zone until the player they're replacing has crossed over the touchline, and the substitution is completed when the player coming on enters the pitch. From that moment, he becomes an active player, with the player he's replacing ceasing to be active. If a substitute enters the pitch before the player being replaced has completely left, he will be cautioned and instructed to leave the pitch to complete the substitution procedure, and an indirect free kick is awarded to the opposition. Law 4. The player's equipment. Players must not use equipment or wear anything that is potentially dangerous to either themselves or another player. This includes any kind of jewellery. The basic compulsory equipment of a player comprises the following separate articles: jersey, shorts, socks, shin guards and footwear. Canvas or soft leather training or gymnastic shoes with soles of rubber or similar material are the only type of footwear allowed. As seen here, only the goalkeeper is permitted to wear long trousers, and they must be of a colour that easily distinguishes him from the other players and the officials. If, as is the case here, a substitute enters the field of play wearing a top the referee believes could cause confusion, then play must be stopped until a suitable, or in this case perhaps not so suitable, replacement has been found, and the referee is happy that there will be no further problems. A player replacing a goalkeeper has to wear a goalkeeper jersey with his number on it, taking care that the colours do not cause confusion. Law 5. The referee. The game is controlled by a referee, who has full authority to enforce the laws of the game. The duties of the referee include ensuring that the goals and nets are properly secured, taking disciplinary action against players guilty of cautionable and sending off offences, while maintaining complete control over both the teams and officials involved in the match. The referee stops, suspends or terminates the match for any infringement of the laws when he considers it appropriate. Stops, suspends or terminates the match as a result of any kind of outside interference. Takes action against team officials who are guilty of misconduct and, if necessary, dismisses them from the pitch and surrounding area. Law 6. The second referee. In futsal, a second referee is also appointed to operate on the opposite side of the pitch to the referee, and, like the first referee, he's also permitted to use a whistle. The second referee helps to control the match with the same discretionary powers to stop the game for any infringement, although the first referee's decision will always prevail in the event of a disagreement. But for the second referee, the touchline isn't always the safest place to be. Law 7. The timekeeper and the third referee. A timekeeper and a third referee can also be appointed, and they're seated outside the pitch at the halfway line on the same side as the substitution zones. The timekeeper does exactly that, ensuring that he starts the clock on kick-off and stops it when the ball is out of play. In addition, the timekeeper checks the 1-minute timeout, the 2-minute time punishment when a player has been sent off, indicates the end of the first and second halves and any required periods of extra time, maintains a record of timeouts left to each team, as well as the number of accumulated fouls. The third referee's role is to assist the timekeeper by maintaining records of the first 5 fouls committed by each team and noting the numbers of the players who have scored, are cautioned or have been sent off, as well as providing any other information relevant to the game. In addition to assisting the timekeeper, the third referee monitors the replacement of balls at the request of the referees. If necessary, checks the substitutes' equipment before they enter the pitch. Signals to the referees when an obvious mistake has been made in cautioning or sending off a player, or if any act of violence has been committed out of their range of vision. In any case, the referee decides on any facts connected with play. The third referee monitors the conduct of those persons seated on the substitutes' benches and informs the referees of any inappropriate behaviour, and may also consult with the first and second referees if he feels it's appropriate, and if either the first or second referee is injured, the third referee will take his place. If the third referee is absent, the timekeeper will also assume the third referee's specific duties. Law 8. Duration of the match. The match lasts for 2 equal periods of 20 minutes under the control of the timekeeper, although the duration may be extended to allow a penalty kick or a direct free kick to be taken against a team that has committed more than 5 accumulated fouls. Each team is entitled to a 1-minute timeout during each half. However, if a team does not request a timeout in the first half of the match, they're still only entitled to 1 timeout during the second half. In the event that the coach is prevented from doing so himself, any team official can make the request for a timeout to the timekeeper, or in the case where there is no timekeeper, to the referees. When a timeout is granted, officials and substitutes must stay off the pitch, whilst the players are free to either leave or remain on the pitch. Players may only be substituted at the end of the timeout. If a match goes into extra time, there are no additional timeouts. Law 9. The start and restart of play. A coin is tossed and the team that wins the toss decides which goal it wishes to attack in the first half. The team that loses the toss kicks off at the start of the first half, and the team that wins the toss will kick off at the start of the second half, the teams having changed ends at half-time. A kick-off is used to start or restart play at the beginning of the match, after a goal has been scored, at the start of the second half, and at the start of each period of extra time if applicable. A goal may be scored direct from the kick-off. A dropped ball is a way of restarting the match after a temporary stoppage while the ball was in play, providing that it had not crossed the touchline or goal line for any reason not mentioned elsewhere in the laws of the game. Action will be taken against any player deliberately provoking a confrontation by interfering with the ball after the referees have stopped play. Law 10. The ball in and out of play. The ball is deemed to be out of play when it has completely crossed the goal line or the touch line, whether it be on the ground or in the air. The ball is also considered to be out of play when the match has been halted by the referees or the ball has hit the ceiling. The minimum height of the ceilings must be 4 meters, as stipulated in competition regulations. Law 11. The method of scoring. The goal is scored when the whole of the ball passes over the goal line, between the posts and under the crossbar, unless it has been thrown or propelled by the hand or arm of a member of the attacking team, including the goalkeeper. The team scoring the greater number of goals is the winner. If the number of goals scored is equal, the game will either be drawn, or if the competition regulations state that a match must end with the winning team, or if a playoff ends in a draw, only the following procedures, as stipulated by FIFA, may be taken into account. The number of goals scored away from home, in which case goals scored in away matches count as double. Extra time. When extra time still ends in a draw, the winner of the match is decided by kicks taken from the penalty mark. Law 12. Fouls and misconduct. A direct free kick is awarded to the opposing team if a player commits any of the following 6 offences in a manner considered to be careless, reckless, or using excessive force. Kicks or attempts to kick an opponent. Trips or attempts to trip an opponent. Jumps at an opponent. Charges an opponent. Strikes or attempts to strike an opponent. Pushes an opponent. A direct free kick is also awarded to the opposing team if a player commits any of these 5 offences. Holds an opponent. Spits at an opponent. Slides in an attempt to play the ball when it's being played or is attempted to be played by an opponent, a sliding tackle, except for the goalkeeper in his own penalty area, and provided that he does not play in a careless, reckless way or uses excessive force. Tackles an opponent to gain possession of the ball, making contact with the opponent before touching the ball. Handles the ball deliberately, except for the goalkeeper in his own penalty area. The previously mentioned offences are accumulated fouls. A penalty kick is awarded if a player commits any of the aforementioned offences inside his own penalty area, irrespective of the position of the ball, but provided that it's in play. An indirect free kick is also awarded to the opposing team if a goalkeeper commits any of the following offences. After releasing the ball from his possession, he receives it back from a teammate without the ball first having passed beyond the halfway line, or without it having been played or touched by an opponent. He touches or controls the ball with his hands after it has been deliberately kicked to him by a teammate. He touches or controls the ball with his hands after he has received it directly from a kick-in taken by a teammate. He touches or controls the ball with his hands or feet in his own half for more than 4 seconds. An indirect free kick is also awarded to the opposing team if, in the referee's opinion, a player plays in a dangerous manner, deliberately impedes the progress of an opponent, prevents the goalkeeper from releasing the ball from his hands, commits any other offence not previously mentioned in Law 12, for which play is stopped to caution or dismiss a player. Disciplinary sanctions. Only a player or a substitute player may be shown the red or yellow card. The referees have the authority to take disciplinary sanctions as from the moment they enter the field of play until they leave the pitch after the final whistle. The referee can caution a player and show him a yellow card whether he is on the field of play or not. And a yellow card will be administered for any of the following offences. He is guilty of unsporting behaviour. He shows dissent by word or action. He persistently infringes the laws of the game. He delays the restart of play. He fails to respect the required distance when play is restarted with a corner kick, kick-in, free kick or goal clearance. He enters or re-enters the pitch without the referee's permission, or infringes the substitution procedure. He deliberately leaves the pitch without the referee's permission. If an offence is of a more serious nature, a player may be dealt a red card and sent off. If he is guilty of serious foul play, he is guilty of violent conduct, he spits at an opponent or any other person, he denies the opposing team a goal or an obvious goal-scoring opportunity by deliberately handling the ball, with the exception of a goalkeeper within his own penalty area. He denies an opponent moving towards the player's goal an obvious goal-scoring opportunity by committing an offence punishable by a free kick or a penalty kick. He uses offensive, insulting or abusive language, or if he receives a second caution in the same match. Although a player who has been sent off may not re-enter the field of play during that particular match, a substitute may take the place of the dismissed player, but only after 2 complete minutes have elapsed since his teammate has been ordered off. Law 13. Free kicks. Free kicks may be either direct or indirect, depending on the type of infringement. In either case, the ball must be stationary when the kick is taken. If the kick is indirect, a goal may only be scored if the ball subsequently touches another player before it enters the goal. The team taking the free kick must do so within 4 seconds, and the kicker must not touch the ball a second time before it touches another player. All opposing players must be at least 5 metres from the ball until the free kick has been taken. To indicate a direct free kick, the referee keeps one arm horizontal, pointing in the direction the kick has to be taken. The referees indicate an indirect free kick by raising one arm above their head, maintaining the arm in that position until the kick has been taken and the ball has touched another player or goes out of play. Law 14. Accumulated fouls. Accumulated fouls are those punished by the awarding of a direct free kick as outlined in Law 12. The first 5 accumulated fouls committed by each team during any one half are recorded by the timekeeper. For those, the opposing players may form a defensive wall, at least 5 metres away from the ball. When applying the advantage rule, the referees must use the mandatory signals to indicate an accumulated foul to the timekeeper and third referee as soon as the ball is out of play. For the sixth, and any subsequent accumulated fouls in any one half, the opposing outfield players must remain behind an imaginary line, level with the ball and parallel to the goal line. The player taking the free kick must be identified and take the kick with the intention of scoring a goal. If the offence is in the opposing team's half, or in his own half, between the halfway line and the second penalty mark, the kick is taken from the second penalty mark, 10 metres from the goal line. If the infringement is between the 10-metre line and the goal line, but outside the penalty area, the team awarded the kick can choose to take it from either the second penalty mark or from where the infringement occurred. The duration of either half may be prolonged to enable a penalty kick to be taken, or for a direct free kick to be taken against a team that has committed more than 5 accumulated fouls. Law 15. The penalty kick. A penalty kick is awarded against a team that commits any of the offences for which a direct free kick is awarded, but inside their own penalty area. The ball is placed on the penalty mark and the penalty taker identified. The defending goalkeeper must remain on his goal line and all other players must be behind the penalty mark and at least 5 metres away from the penalty mark. As with a free kick, the duration of either half may be prolonged to enable a penalty kick to be taken or for a direct free kick to be taken against a team that has committed more than 5 accumulated fouls. Law 16. The kick-in. A kick-in is a method of restarting play after the ball passes over the touchline, either on the ground or in the air, or if it hits the ceiling. The kick-in is taken and is kicked in from the place where the ball crossed the touchline, having last been touched by the opposing team. The ball must be stationary, and the players of the opposing team must be at least 5 metres from the place where the kick-in is taken. The player taking the kick-in must do so within 4 seconds and cannot touch the ball a second time until another player has touched it. A goal cannot be scored direct from a kick-in. If an opponent interferes with or hinders a kick-in from being taken, they'll be cautioned for unsporting behaviour. Law 17. The goal clearance. A goal clearance is awarded when the ball passes over the goal line, having been touched last by a member of the attacking team. The goal clearance must be taken within 4 seconds and is taken by the goalkeeper of the defending team, who throws the ball from any point within his penalty area. The goalkeeper must not touch the ball for a second time until it has been touched by an opponent. And again, a goal cannot be scored directly from a goal clearance. Law 18. The corner kick. A corner kick is another method of restarting play and is awarded when the ball passes over the goal line, having last been touched by a member of the defending team. The corner is taken with the ball placed in the arc at the nearest corner and is taken by a member of the attacking team. The opponents must remain at least 5 metres away from the corner arc until the ball is in play. The player taking the corner cannot touch the ball a second time until it has touched another player. A goal can be scored directly from a corner, but only against the opposing team.